This will sting. Good people cheat. Not because they wake up one day deciding to destroy everything they love, but because 1,000 small, harmless choices build a slight end one night. They're tired, flattered, a little resentful, a little buzzed, and gravity does the rest. Men, if you think character alone keeps you safe, you are underestimating how the mind bends when stress, secrecy, and novelty line up. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to show you the moves before they happen, so you never have to sit in a parking lot, staring at your reflection in a windshield, wondering when you became a man you don't respect. Quick note before we go deeper. We're discussing behaviors and unhealthy dynamics, not generalizing to everyone. Use this to spot patterns, set boundaries, and choose healthy relationships. The stakes are not just, I might hurt someone's feelings. The stakes are your reputation, custody battles, financial fallout, your health, and your ability to respect your own word. Cheating doesn't just break trust between two people. It fractures your sense of self. And if you've ever felt that quiet echo, the one that says, I'm not proud of the way I'm handling this, you know it's worse than any external consequence? Lower, you can fix behavior. It's a lot harder to fix a cracked identity. Here's the thesis. Nobody wants to say out loud. Cheating is a process, not an event. It's a storyline with 3 engines. First, opportunity proximity, privacy, alcohol, travel, late nights, DMS. Second, a justification story, we're drifting. I'm unappreciated. It's not real cheating if it's just emotional. Third, boundary failure, vague lines, no pre-planned exits, and the lie that you'll be strong enough in the moment. That's the blueprint. Let me show you how it actually plays out. Picture Marcus, 34, sales lead. He loves his He also loves closing big deals, which means conferences and client dinners. He meets Lila, a quick-witted account manager from another city. They joke about travel horror stories. He mentions sleep deprivation. She says, you're carrying your whole team. Harmless. Then it shifts. She asks about his relationship. He says, we're good. We're just busy. He starts deeming her small wins. He hasn't told his fiancée yet because she wouldn't get it. One night, he sends a meme he wouldn't show at home. He doesn't delete it, he just doesn't mention it. That not mentioning becomes the secret garden. At the next conference, they end up at the hotel bar, close but not touching. He knows the moment he should leave. He doesn't. He tells himself, I deserve to feel seen for once. The line he thought was bright turns out to be drawn in dry sand. One choice, fallout for years. Here's where most men get blindsided. Cheating often starts as outsourcing intimacy, not chasing sex. When you feed a deep part of yourself with someone outside the relationship, your fears, your ambitions, your resentment create a parallel connection. Research suggests that emotional disclosure accelerates bonding faster than small talk. Your brain writes a lie. If we're this connected, it must be special. Special doesn't mean safe. Translation time, because this is how it often hides in plain sight. They say, we're just friends. I can talk to them about stuff I can't tell you. Could mean, I'm outsourcing intimacy and getting needs met off the books. Verify by, would they share these chats with me in the room without flinching? Respond with, I want us to be the team that talks first. Let's set clear lines we both follow. Another pattern that looks noble but isn't. The peacemaker, the guy who avoids conflict at home, so he vents to a colleague who always gets it. She mirrors his frustrations. He feels understood. Finally, that relief becomes the drug. He starts thinking, if I bring this up at home, we'll fight. Out here, I feel calm. And now his nervous system pairs outside person with peace and home with stress. It's not love, it's avoidance wearing cologne. Now, notice what happens next. Novelty enters in stale season's new baby, long distance, grinding routines. Your brain craves self-expansion, seeing a new version of yourself. Someone laughs at your jokes again. You wear a shirt you haven't worn in years. You feel alive. Men mistake aliveness for chemistry, chemistry for fate, and fate for permission. But research suggests that novelty spikes dopamine, not necessarily compatibility. Don't confuse a brain buzz with a soul bond. Then there's the slow erosion of lines. I didn't tell her I grabbed coffee with that person because she's insecure. Translation, I knew it crossed a line, so I hid it. And every hidden move demands a self-justifying story. Cognitive dissonance flips you into moral gymnastics. I'm a good guy, so this can't be cheating. That's moral licensing, the worse you feel about crossing a line. the more you edit the definition of the line to feel okay. Dangerous game. Work travel is a classic risk amplifier. People call it the work-spouse dynamic. Shared goals, inside jokes, long hours, adrenaline, late dinners, wine, opportunity meets privacy. Add resentment at home, she'll never notices what I do, and now you've got a justification story. Add alcohol and a vague boundary. That's the triad I told you about. Put a guardrail on any one of those and you reduce risk dramatically. Ignore all three, and you're betting against your own biology. Biology always wins in the short term. Let me give you the flip side and exit affair. Some people don't cheat to stay. They cheat to leave. They can't say, I'm done, so they create an explosion. Why? Because being the villain is sometimes easier than tolerating guilt in the short run. They burn the bridge so they don't have to walk across it. If that's you, listen closely. Ending a relationship cleanly will hurt less than detonating your reputation. The pain of a clean cut lasts months. The fallout of deceit lasts years. We also need to talk about people-pleasing. Sounds harmless. It's not, I don't want to hurt their feelings, is how some men get pulled into flirting they didn't want. They won't say, no, that's not appropriate, because they prize approval over integrity. Then one night, the bill comes due. If you can't disappoint a stranger, you will eventually betray yourself or your partner. Choose your pain. Why does all of this work on good people? Because stress and secrecy distort. Because being seen is intoxicating. Because your brain rewards novelty and risk with a biochemical hit. Then whispers, don't worry, it's under control. Because we're all vulnerable to the I'm different bias, we believe we can stand next to a cliff forever and never slip. And because many of us never learn clear, calm boundary language. Before we build the antidote in part 2, one more microstory. Sarah and Jake had a newborn. 0 sleep, short tempers, sinking intimacy. Jake started playing online games at night to decompress. He joined a Discord where a woman, Nova, laughed at his dad jokes, then shared memes. Then late-night Demas, it's just harmless. Except he was now texting Nova his frustrations about the house, and none of that was getting to Sarah. When Sarah found the messages, she felt rejected not only as a partner, but as a teammate. Jake didn't think it was cheating. Nova didn't either. The damage was real anyway, because intimacy had been moved off. It took 9 months of therapy and ruthless transparency to repair. The moral isn't men are bad or women are manipulative. The moral is, intimacy is a finite resource. Where you put it is where your relationship grows. Hold that thought, because the real test shows up when you're cornered. You'll hear phrases like, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to upset you, and you'll want to believe it. Watch the behavior, not the words. Here's a quick litmus test you can use tonight. They say, I didn't tell you because it would just start a fight. Could mean, I knew it wouldn't pass the daylight test. Verify by, would they post that interaction publicly and still call it harmless? Respond with, we don't hide to keep peace. We tell the truth to build it. Now, in part 2, I'm going to give you a clear prevention plan. Scripts that end gray area flirting without drama, and exactly what to do step by step if you've crossed a line or discovered they did. Men, this is the part that saves you years. Beat, stay with me. Let's make this practical. You manage risk the way a pilot flies. Checklists, guardrails, and honest debriefs after turbulence. Character is the reason you make the plan. The plan is the reason your character survives pressure. First, define cheating for you in plain English before emotion gets a vote. Not everyone draws the same lines around deeming. Work besties, old flames, or private venting. Ambiguity breeds accidents. Sit down, yes, literally, and write your boundary map. What's private? What's shared? What counts as flirting? You won't do. What do you expect from each other when traveling? If you can't say it out loud in a calm room, you won't hold it under neon lights and whiskey. And when those lines are tested, you need clean, strong language. Use this without apology. I don't do private emotional intimacy with someone I'd feel weird introducing to my partner. Let's keep this professional. I'm not available for flirty one. If we need to talk, let's loop my partner in or meet with the team. I value my integrity more than approval. I'm stepping out of this conversation. Notice the tone. Firm, not cruel. No long explanations. No moral lectures. Boundaries that require a mood to maintain aren't boundaries. They're their wishes. You want sentences you can say at 1 a.m. after a long day. Here's your practical checklist for prevention. Keep it tight. Put it in your notes app. Boundary map. List hard no's and yellow flags. Share it. Refine it. Risk plan for travel, alcohol, late night spree decide, exit strategies, and who you'll call if tempted. Transparency protocol. Shared calendars. Reasonable phone openness by mutual consent. Simple, hey, grabbing coffee with X at 3 heads. Not surveillance accountability. Conflict hygiene. When upset, use name, need, request, example. I feel dismissed. I need to feel considered. Can we plan 30 minutes tonight to talk without phones? Relationship, novelty, schedule new experiences together, monthly classes, weekend hikes, cooking something weird. Feed self-expansion at home. Digital boundaries. No lingering DMs with exes. No private joke threads with someone you keep secret. Mute, unfollow, or block as needed. Integrity rituals. Daily 60-second check-in. What did I avoid? What would make me proud tomorrow? Small, honest reps build big honesty later. Another translation moment, because this one shows up when you raise a concern. They say, you're overreacting. It's not that deep. Could mean, I'm minimizing because I'm attached to the attention. Verify by, do they acknowledge your feeling and negotiate a solution? Or do they deflect and hide more? Respond with, I'm not judging you. I'm naming my boundary. Let's agree on behavior we'd both be proud to admit. Microstory, Amit, 29, resident, married, 2 years. His wife, Mira, just had their first baby. Mira's healing. Sleep is chaos. Intimacy's on hold. A senior nurse starts bringing Amit extra coffee. Lingering in the break room, shoulder touch that stays 2 seconds too long. He likes the attention. He hates that he likes it. He remembers the rule he and Mira agreed on. No secret one. So he says, hey, thank you for the support, but I'm going to keep our chats about patience. I care about my marriage. She rolls her eyes. He shrugs, switches to group lunches, and texts. Mira nurse was getting flirty, handled it. Mira thanks him. When real intimacy returned months later, they both knew why it had survived. Not because temptation wasn't there, but because he had a sentence ready when it showed up. Let's talk travel. Risk multiplies on the road, new city. No routines. Peers who normalize what happens here stays here. Do this instead. Book earlier flights so you aren't stranded late with the one more round crew. Set a curfew for yourself that you actually keep your ring on, even if you're not married. Visible commitment lowers approaches. Studies suggest choose group dinners, not intimate cocktails. Avoid the walk back to the hotel with one person, get rides, or leave as a group. And text a quick check-in not as a leash, but as a ritual. Headed to bed. Early morning. Love you. Accountability, not permission. Social media deserves its own rule. DMAs blur lines because they feel safe and reversible. They're not. If you wouldn't read it out loud on speaker in your kitchen, don't type it. Remove friction by turning off message requests from strangers. Unfollow exes if you keep scanning their stories. Delayed temptation is still temptation. Another translation block for the classic deflection. They say, it just happened, could mean I entered a high-risk setup and ignored off-ramps verified by. With their multiple decision point strings, ride, room door, respond with, we don't call planned proximity an accident. We build plans that make integrity the default. Now, what if it's too late? Either you crossed a boundary or you discovered they did. Here's the hard medicine. If you cheated, own it. No euphemisms, no, but we were on a break. No, you made me feel lonely. That all might be context, but it's not a cause. Causes are choices. End the outside contact immediately and verifiably. Offer a full timeline including small moments you want to omit. Answer questions without defensiveness and accept that your partner's timeline for processing may be longer than you wish. Commit to transparency for a period you both agree on. Think of it as rehabilitation for trust. Get individual therapy to understand why you built the slope in the first place. Resentment, boredom, conflict avoidance, and couples therapy if you both choose to rebuild and do not demand quick forgiveness. You don't get to set the recovery clock. You set the repair pace by the consistency of your actions. If you discovered they're cheating, breathe. Don't interrogate for 6 hours at 2 a.m. That's trauma talking. It won't get you the truth you need. Set immediate safety boundaries. I won't share a bed until we have a clear plan for no contact and honesty. We'll schedule a time tomorrow to discuss steps. I won't police your phone, but if we're rebuilding, I need cooperative transparency calendars, communication, and therapy on the books. Decide whether you're open to repair or you're done. Both are valid. If you choose to attempt repair, your non-negotiables must be specific. No contact message sent, therapist booked, agreed check-ins disclosure, complete within a set time frame. If you choose to leave, do it cleanly. No revenge cheating, no humiliating social media blasts. Leave with the dignity you wish you'd kept. Your future self will thank you. Microstory Jamal 41 lost his job in a merger. He'd been the provider for years. Identity collapsed. He started deeming old flames harmlessly. The validation filled the hole the layoff blew open. When his wife found the messages, he wanted to blame the economy, her, anyone. He didn't. He said, I was patching my ego with attention. I'll stop, and I'll figure out why I needed it and how to fix that without using people. He blocked the numbers, installed frictional social apps on his phone after 9 p.m. and went to therapy. Job came later. The respect returned earlier because his integrity came back first. Why does prevention work so well? Because craving is a wave, not a permanent climate. If you remove the surfboard opportunity, you don't catch the wave. If you don't feed it with secret storylines justification, it dies faster. And if your boundaries live in your mouth and not your moods, you'll protect your future even when your present wants attention. Research in self-control suggests pre-commitment and environment design beat willpower in hot moments. Translation: plan beats swagger. Here's something most men need to hear. Being hard to tempt is not the flex. Being easy to read is a man whose partner knows where he stands, what he'll say when tested, and how he handles attention. That's security. That's high value. That's rare. Let's zoom out to identity. You are not the sum of what you resist. You're the sum of what you protect. You protect your word. You protect your partner's nervous system from worry. You protect your kids from seeing you apologize for the same thing 5 times. You protect your future from the dumbest 5 minutes of your year. And if your relationship has truly ended, you protect the dignity of both of you by ending it before you start another. That's how men do it. Not perfect men, disciplined men. If you're in a relationship where the lines are constantly tested by a partner who flirts publicly and hides privately, don't gaslight yourself. Set this boundary and let the chips fall. I won't compete with secret relationships. If we're together, we choose transparency and repair. If that's not what you want, we end this today. And if you've been the tester of lines, end the habit right now. It is not cute to stay wanted by many. It's exhausting. Pick your person or end it. You don't need a fan club. You need a spine. Before we close, tie this to your daily life. Schedule a weekly 20-minute State of Us chat. No phones. 2 questions each. Where did you feel close to me this week? And what felt off? And what's one small fix? That beats waiting for resentment to turn into an exit plan. Install one friction today mutadem thread, step out of a flood, tell a coworker, let's keep it professional. Send one message to your partner tonight. Here are my lines. Here's how I'll protect them. Any adjustments you want. That's leadership. You want the payoff? Imagine 12 months from now. A moment shows up, a conference, a DM, a late drink. You feel the pull. You hear your line in your own voice. You smile, you exit, you go home. No drama to hide, new double life. Just a quiet pride that doesn't need an audience. That's the reward for doing this work. It's not glamorous. It's better. It's freedom. If this spoke to you, subscribe. I'm here to help you build relationships and a reputation you never have to recover from. New videos every week. Let's sharpen you, then protect what matters.